So today, we're not just going to talk about the rules of chess. Nope, we're going to go deeper. We are diving right into the mind of a master to really understand the science and the art behind the world's greatest game. Forget learning how the pieces move. We're going to learn how to think. Let's jump right in. You know, it's funny, chess is a game that's just shrouded in mystery. As the historian H.E. Bird pointed out, we can't really trace it back to one single starting point. It's lost in time. But what we do know is that for centuries, these 64 squares have been a battleground for the mind, an endless fascination, and a true test of what our brains can do.
All right, so to really get our heads around this, we're going to take a four-part journey. First, we'll look at its epic history. Then, we'll get into the two minds of a grandmaster. After that, we'll see the beautiful art of the attack in action. And finally, we'll map out a clear path for you to master the game yourself.
Okay, let's start at the very beginning. The story of chess is really a story of evolution. From a game of chance with dice to the ultimate game of pure, unfiltered skill.
You know, the evolution of chess really boils down to one single revolutionary idea: taking luck out of the equation. It all started back in the 6th century in India as this four-player game called Chaturanga, where your moves were literally decided by a roll of the dice. But then it travels to Persia, becomes a two-player game, and this is the crucial part: they threw the dice away. That is the moment chess as we know it was born, a pure battle of skill. And from there, it just exploded across the world, leading to the massive online community we all know today. So, now that we know where the game came from, let's get inside a master's head. You see, every great player is working with two very different but totally connected ways of thinking: strategy and tactics. And this, right here, this is the fundamental split. Strategy is your long-term plan. It's the why behind what you're doing. You could call it the science of chess. Tactics, on the other hand, that's the how. These are the short-term, flashy, brilliant combinations that actually make the plan happen. That's the art of the game, where you get those amazing knockouts. And you absolutely need both to win.
Grandmaster Yasser Seirawan just puts it perfectly. Strategy is the purposeful pursuit of an advantage. It's not about one move. It's about slowly, move by move, improving your position, controlling key squares, and getting your pieces to work together like a team. It's what you do when there's nothing obvious to do, right? And it's the silent, guiding force behind every single move you make.
So what does the strategic plan actually look like on the board? Well, imagine this. You force your opponent to get doubled pawns. Right now, it might seem like a tiny, insignificant change, but a master sees the future. 20 moves down the road, that small weakness you created becomes a fatal flaw. It becomes the target you can attack to win the entire game. That's not just a move, that's an investment.
Okay, so we've covered the why, the strategy. Now let's move to the how, the tactics. This is where the game gets really exciting. This is where those deep plans pay off in a beautiful cascade of brilliant, game-winning moves.
All right, now it's your turn. Take a good look at this position. White has a winning move here, a tactical shot that just ends the game. It might look kind of quiet, but trust me, there's a hidden thunderbolt. Take a second, see if you can find it. What is the best move for white?
And there it is, queen to f8, check. It is a brilliant sacrifice black has to capture with their rook, which lets white's rook on d8 swoop in and recapture for checkmate. This is a classic tactic called an X-ray. You see how the white rook on d8 is attacking that final square through the enemy piece? It's like having X-ray vision on the board.
Okay, let's try another one. This one's a bit more chaotic, right? White has already given up some material just to rip open the black king's defenses. But the job isn't finished yet. There is one final, elegant move that forces checkmate. Can you find it?
And the stunning move is queen to e6, check. Black's only possible move is to capture it, and then, bam, the bishop on c4 delivers the final blow. It was aiming through the black bishop the entire time. Another perfect example of that X-ray vision. Recognizing these hidden geometric patterns, that's the real key to tactical mastery. So, we know the history, and we get the whole strategy versus tactics thing. But how do we actually put this all together and get better? Let's look at a really practical plan for improving your game. All right, this is so important. According to the International Chess School, how you spend your study time is absolutely critical. And just look at this breakdown. A full 50%, half of your time, should be spent on the middle game. You might be asking, why? Well, because that's where strategy is born. The opening just gets you to the battlefield. The middle game is where the real war is actually fought and won.
And here are a few pro tips that make a huge difference. First, get off the screen sometimes. Using a real physical chessboard is proven to help your visualization skills. And take notes. When an idea strikes you, write it down. It helps lock it in your brain. Focus on understanding the why behind the moves, not just memorizing openings. And maybe most importantly, analyze your own games. Just playing endless blitz online won't make you better if you don't actually learn from your mistakes.
And this right here is what it looks like when it all comes together. This final position from a master game is the result of a perfectly executed plan. The long-term strategy created the weaknesses, and the short-term tactics delivered the final, beautiful blow. Just look at how every single one of Black's pieces is working together in perfect harmony. That doesn't happen by accident. That is designed. So here's the key takeaway. Thinking about chess means thinking with two minds at the same time. The strategic mind is the architect designing this long-term plan. The tactical mind, that's the assassin, executing with sudden, sharp blows. When you master both, every single game becomes a chance to create something brilliant. So the only question left is, what masterpiece will you create?